Welcome everyone to an emotional evening with Mama Rachel. I'm just going to give a short shiur here on the way to Kever Rachel, because once we get there we want to focus mostly on doing the whole preparation from soup to nuts of the challah. Just to give you an idea of way the night Bezrat Hashem is going to be run. When we get to Kever Rachel, the first thing we're doing is we're stopping off at the Kikal. There's an area where you can light candles. I brought tea candles and matches, so let's begin the night first by lighting a candle for Mama Rachel. May her name protect us and serve as an advocate for us on high. Be'ezrat Hashem. And we're going to be going to a room downstairs where we're going to be doing the shiur and the Hafrashat Challah. I brought with me 12 batches of sifted flour ready to go, and all the ingredients, Be'ezrat Hashem, to prepare 12 batches of dough to do Hafrashat Challah. Okay, the 11th of Cheshvan. The 11th of Cheshvan, which is the yahrzeit of Mama Rachel, which was a day and a half ago, is Mother's Day, the Jewish Mother's Day. And the reason why it is the Jewish Mother's Day is because if you take the word M and you look at the gematria of M, it's 41. The 41th day of the year is the 11th of Cheshvan. And so Mama Rachel's yahrzeit is Mother's Day for the Jewish people. Also, the word M could be very closely related to the word im, if. And the pasuk in the Navi Yeshaya writes, the pasuk, if Hashem has washed the filth of the daughters of Zion, if, which is also im, which is the word im, but it could be read also em. What it means really to mean is that if, when Mama Rachel, our mother, M, which is our mother, Mama Rachel, when she washes the filth, she washes the filth of the children of Zion, which is Bnei Yisrael. What it means is that Mama Rachel has the ability to wash the souls of her children. And how does she do this? How does she wash the souls of her children? She cries, and she cries, and her tears are intended to bring us to a place where we recognize our smallness in the face of the greatness of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. We're supposed to come to Mama Rachel and feel a very sense of humility, of humbleness, that we're standing in the face of the Shekhinah. We should feel ourselves very lowly and very tiny. We should see ourselves as being lonely human beings, that we have an avoda to do, that Hashem is our master, and that we're his servants. Rachel cries, and she will not be comforted. Hashem responds to her, and what does he tell her? He says to her, your children, don't worry, they're going to return back to their borders. What does it mean, their borders? Well, here is her connection to Eretz Yisrael, to the land of Israel. Hashem is telling Rachel Imenu, don't cry, because your children are going to come back to their borders. They're going to come back to Eretz Yisrael. Now, in a deeper meaning, it's not just the physical land of Eretz Yisrael that they're going to be coming back to. It's also, it means the land of Yisrael signifies for the Jewish people their Jewish identity. The fact that they're Jewish, the fact that they go in the ways of Jewishness, the fact that they abide and go by Hashem's Torah and fulfill Hashem's will. Israel, the land of Israel, represents the natural habitat that Jewish people should be living in. So it's not just physically the land, but it's anything that identifies us with our heritage, with the ways of our matriarchs and patriarchs. That's what the land of Israel signifies to us. It's what makes us a holy light. and it is what makes us a unique nation. So when Rachel Imenu is promised by Hashem that He's going to comfort her, that the day will come, Be'ezrat Hashem soon, Berachamim, the day will come that we're going to return to our border, what it really means is that the Jewish people, Be'ezrat Hashem, soon will come to recognize their tafkid, their mission in this world, and will come to recognize that their mission in this world is to be a light, to be holy, to be unique, and to be separate from the other nations of the world. That is our task, and that is what Mama Rachel is waiting for us to be doing. We're now in a generation where we're in total, desperate need to be uplifted and to uplift our consciousness to the devotion of serving Hashem. We're not there. We're obviously not there, because if we were there, then Mashiach would be here. But this is the key. Devoting our lives to the will of Hashem, to His mitzvahs, to seeing Hashem, to living with Emuna, and seeing Hashem in every part of our lives, that is the key to returning to our borders. That's the key to stopping Mama Rachel from crying. That's the key from giving Nachat Ruach to Hashem and feeling connected to Eretz Yisrael as well. That is the key to take us out of exile. Now, a mother figure is a figure of gentleness, of softness. Okay? We rely on our mother to guide us. Now, in the Jewish world, physically, the belonging of a Jewish child is only granted to them. Their identification as being Jewish is only sealed when they have a Jewish mother. Also, spiritually, a mother creates the warmth and the Jewish environment and atmosphere in the home. So spiritually, the mother nurtures her children in the Torah way of life, and physically, it's sealed in their bodies physically that they're Jewish by the fact that she herself is Jewish. So Mama Rachel reminds us of the importance to spiritually guard our borders, to spiritually guard our home, to guard it from the influences of the world, of the Western way of living, of the culture that doesn't conform to the Jewish way and Torah way of living. Another thing, Kever Rachel reawakens within us, within our hearts, within our minds, the whole concept of Eretz Yisrael. It's one of the main attractions of people of all walks of life that come here to visit Kever Rachel. Now we're going to take just a brief look and see how it is that Challah also has a connection to Eretz Yisrael. Is she on the phone?
Yeah.
Oh, good. The mitzvah of Hafrashat Challah. We learn of the mitzvah of Hafrashat Challah in the parsha of Shlach Lecha in Sefer Bamidbar. Right after the sin of the Meraglim, the Jewish people lost the zchut to enter Eretz Yisrael. And Chazal teach us that Challah, now let's just make it clear, Challah, what we call Challah today, is not what it really is in biblical terms. Challah, when Chazal refer to the mitzvah of Challah, they refer to what we call today Hafrashat Challah. But Challah itself is the little piece of dough, the egg-sized piece of dough that we separate from the entire batter of dough. So we call it Hafrashat Challah, but Chazal term it as being called Challah. The mitzvah of Hafrashat Challah must be performed upon entering to Eretz Yisrael. It's the first mitzvah that was told to Bnei Yisrael to perform when they entered Eretz Yisrael. So we see from this that the mitzvah of Challah is very intimately connected to the whole idea of Eretz Yisrael, of connecting to our Yiddishkeit, connecting to our Jewishness, and going in the ways of Torah. So already we see just one connection between Rachel Imenu and Challah, that they're both very deeply bonded with the whole concept of being Jewish, of performing mitzvot, and of living in Eretz Yisrael and living in the Jewish way. Now, every mitzvah that we perform provides us with a spiritual energy that enables us to accomplish a certain task that we have in life. So every mitzvah is like a guiding point. It guides us in the way of where we need to go and to help us and aid us in completing our mission. The spiritual energy that comes from Hafrashat Challah is the strength to assume ownership of Eretz Yisrael. So the mitzvah of every time we perform the mitzvah of Hafrashat Challah, what we're basically guiding ourselves into doing is we're stamping our identity on the land of Eretz Yisrael, and we're saying, Hashem, I'm Jewish, and the land of Eretz Yisrael belongs to Jewish people. That we're giving koach, we're giving oz to Hashem Yitbarach to make sure that Eretz Yisrael stays in the hands of the Jews and chas v'shalom not be threatened. We weaken the threatening against the conquering of Eretz Yisrael, God forbid, by anybody else. Interestingly enough, I didn't make this connection, but after doing a lot of research, the name of the city where Rachel Emuna is buried is Bethlehem, the house of bread. There's a connection between Rachel Emuna and bread. Also, if you take the word Rachel and you take the word Challah, they both share the same root, which is Chol, Chet and Lamed. Chet and Lamed, Chol, means ordinary. By performing the mitzvah of Hafrashat Challah, we actually take the ordinary dough, regular bread that we eat during the week, and we in fact elevate it spiritually and bring it up on high and create its lofty nature and separate it. It becomes holy. The opposite of ordinary, of mundane, is holy. How does something become from chol to kodesh? How do we do mavdil ben kodesh lechol? How do we separate kodesh, holiness, and chol, ordinariness, mundaneness? By separating something. By making a separation, it in fact becomes holy. How do we make ourselves holy with Rachel? How does Rachel, how is she elevated from becoming ordinary? How do we, as her children, become holy and not ordinary? When we act in the way of Rachel Emuna, we actually take ourselves and separate ourselves from the women of the world, and we identify with Rachel Emuna, who is a very holy woman, and we become entitled to be called a holy mother, okay, to be walking in the ways of our mothers. The mitzvah of Hafrashat Challah, as I said before, should only be performed in Eretz Yisrael, but Chazal have instituted the mitzvah to also be performed outside of Eretz Yisrael. The reason being so that we do not forget the mitzvah, this beautiful mitzvah. So what do we deduce from this, Chazal? That the mitzvah of Challah has in it the segula to remember our roots. It's a segula for us to not forget where we came from, what our identity is, and our connection to Eretz Yisrael. So I find that very interesting, that really there's the more you dig, the more you see this enormous connection between Eretz Yisrael and Challah and Rachel Emuna. So Rachel Emuna says, a voice is heard on high, Kol berama nishma, Rachel mevaka al banea ki enenu. Rachel is crying over her children. But it's written that she's mevaka. She's not bocha. She's not crying. Crying means bocha. Why does the Torah say mevaka? Mevaka is related and defines a situation that Rachel is being caused to cry. Something is causing Rachel Imenu to cry. She's not just crying, but something is causing Rachel Imenu to cry on high. What's causing Rachel Imenu to cry? She should be crying, but she shouldn't be caused to cry. And the answer is very astounding and very, very much a sad thing for us to ingrain. But she's crying because we're not crying. She's crying because her children aren't crying over what they should be crying over. We're not crying over the fact that we're in Galut. We're crying over a lot of things, but we're not crying that we're in Galut and that the Geula hasn't come yet. And even if we are crying, we're not crying enough. And it's not a quality of crying that's enough to bring the Geula. In spite of all the pain and the suffering that we each and every one of us have, we need to cry to Hashem. We need to beg to Him. Take us out of our Galut. We distract ourselves. We try to make ourselves comfortable in this world. We're always looking for a way to make ourselves feel good and comfortable in this world. Instead of settling ourselves in the atmosphere and the environment of Galut, we should be asking Hashem, I don't want to feel comfortable. I'm not supposed to feel comfortable. I'm not in the natural habitat of my being. The Jewish people aren't supposed to be in Galut. The Jewish people are not supposed to be living under a cloud of darkness where they can't see Hashem. That's not normal. That's not natural. We shouldn't be accepting it. We should be fighting it. We should say to Hashem, Hashem, I don't accept this reality. This is not the reality I want to live in. I want to live in your reality. I want to live with you, and I accept it no other way. Hashem yearns, so to speak, for this type of tefillah. Hashem wants this type of tefillah. He loves it. He adores it. He waits for it. Rachel waits for it. So she wants us to cry out. And when we cry out, you know what we're telling Rachel? We're telling her, Mini kolech mi bechi ve'enaich mi dim'ah. You could stop crying now, Ima. You can stop crying because I'm crying. Because I understand why I'm here in this world. I understand what my mission is now. And I belong to you and the ways of our fathers and mothers. And I won't accept this reality. I'm going to do the crying instead of you. I understand where I belong, and I don't belong in Galut. So indeed, this is where we are right now. We're in Galut. Our da'at, our minds are in Galut. The Vilna Gaon says that when we were sent to Galut, the harshest Galut was that our mind was sent into Galut. Our hearts were sent into Galut. We don't recognize that we're in Galut. That's the worst part of it all, is we're living a Galut mentality and we don't even know it. We're waiting for the world to change when in fact, the world shouldn't change to conform to us, to make us feel comfortable. Because if we feel comfortable, then we won't ask to be taken out of this situation. We want Hashem to change it so that we'll be in a reality that's truthful, where we'll feel closeness to HaKadosh Baruch Hu and we'll be able to see the light of Emes. That's what we need to be asking for. We need to get excited about the fact of Geula. We need to get excited about the whole idea of Mashiach coming, which is one of the reasons why I write on every email of mine the 5 brachas. The 5 brachas that we need to learn by heart every day. We need to be practicing the 5 brachas, to learn them by heart. So when Mashiach comes, you won't have to look at a paper. You won't have to go and search in that drawer to learn the 5 brachas of what to say when Mashiach comes. You have to learn it by heart. It's the test of life. You have to know exactly what to say when Mashiach comes, because then you're showing Hashem, Hashem, I want him to come. Look how ready I am. I know what to say when I see him. I know exactly how to greet him. This is what we need to work on. And Bezrat Hashem tonight, in between the davening and the tehillim and the lighting of candles and the preparing of challah, Bezrat Hashem, we should walk away tonight feeling like we really, really are missing and lacking something very significant in our lives. Bezrat Hashem, here we are, and we'll continue in the Kever itself. Thanks.